There is a quart mason jar sitting on my potting bench right now. The liquid inside is dark brown, about the color of strong iced tea, and it cost me maybe $2 to put together. Tonight, just before dark, that one jar is going out across my front lawn through a plain hose end sprayer, and in about 5 days, the grass it touches is going to green up so hard that folks driving past will slow down, the way they do every spring, wondering what lawn service I hired. I did not buy this jar in a store. You cannot buy it in a store. It is an old farm country tonic that Amish dairy farmers were mixing up in buckets long before the first bag of lawn fertilizer ever reached a hardware store shelf. And it came down to me from an old ball field groundskeeper who grew up around those farms. Every ingredient in it is sitting at your grocery store right now. But stay with me to the end, because the old fellas were dead serious that this jar goes on the lawn at dusk, never at noon, and that is not superstition. It is one specific thing the afternoon sun does to the main ingredient in this jar, and it is the whole difference between grass that jumps out of the ground and $2 poured down the drain. I'm Garry Strickland. I'm 63 years old. I spent my working life as a carpenter, and for better than 30 years, I've kept the same quarter acre in the same Midwest neighborhood. Most of what I know came from my old neighbor Earl, a World War II veteran with the thickest lawn on the street and nothing in his shed but a rotary mower and a coffee can of grass seed. And from the old groundskeepers around town who were kind enough to talk to a curious fella over the fence. Now, pull up a chair and let me tell you something. If your lawn came out of winter looking thin, tired, and about the color of a paper grocery bag, you have probably already had the thought, drive to the store. Walk down that aisle with the wall of bags. Pick the one with the greenest picture on the front. Hand over $40 or $50. I did exactly that for years, my friend. And the same thing happened every single time. The lawn greened up quick, held that color for maybe 3 weeks, then slid right back to where it started, and the bag told me to come buy another one. That is no accident. Most of what is in those bags is a fast, salt-based nitrogen. It feeds the blades and does next to nothing for the soil underneath them. The grass gets a jolt, the jolt wears off, and the ground is just as tired as it was before. The old-timers did it backwards. They fed the ground, not the grass, and that is why Earl's lawn stayed thick clear through August while mine used to fade by the 4th of July. The jar on my bench does both jobs at once. It gives the grass its quick green, and it wakes up the soil so the green stays. And keep that jar in mind, because the dusk rule is still coming, and it is the reason half the folks who try a homemade tonic swear it works like magic, and the other half swear it does nothing at all. Now, before I hand you the recipe, everything I am showing you today is written out plain in a little book I put together called The Old Ways, 50 Forgotten Lawn Secrets from America's Greatest Groundskeepers. Before Earl and the old fellas around town were all gone, I sat down and wrote out every small, cheap, patient trick they ever taught me. 104 pages, plain language, no jargon, so a regular homeowner can have the thickest lawn on the block without that wall of bottles and bags. There is a section on feeding the soil instead of the grass, which is exactly what we are doing today, and it has its own place in part 1. The book is $17 right now, marked down from $47. One $40 bag of the fancy stuff costs more than this whole book, and the book does not run out in 3 weeks. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. All right, my friend, let's go build that jar. There are 3 ingredients, and all three are probably within a mile of your house right now. The first one is clear household ammonia from the cleaning aisle at the grocery store. You want the plain kind, no lemon scent, no sudsing agents, nothing added, just clear ammonia, a couple of dollars a bottle. Ammonia is nitrogen, the very same green up element that $40 bag is selling you, and grass drinks it up fast. Now let me say one thing loud and clear, and then I will say it again because it matters. Never mix ammonia with bleach. Not in this recipe, not in a bucket, not anywhere, because the two together make a dangerous gas. Never ammonia and bleach together. We are using ammonia by itself, with water, and that is all. The second ingredient is plain Epsom salt, the same bag folks keep in the bathroom for soaking sore feet. About $5 a bag at the drugstore or the garden center. Epsom salt is magnesium and sulfur, and here is the part the old groundskeeper down at the ball field explained to me standing on his pitcher's mound. Magnesium sits at the very center of the green in every blade of grass. It is the heart of the stuff that turns sunlight into food. A lawn short on magnesium can have all the nitrogen in the world and still look pale, like a fella who is eating plenty but never sleeping. The Epsom salt is what turns green into deep green. The third ingredient is the one the old fellas cared about most, and it is the one that gives the jar that dark iced tea color. Unsulfured blackstrap molasses from the baking aisle, $4 or $5 a jar. Now I know what you are thinking, neighbor. Syrup on the lawn. Stay with me. That molasses is not for the grass at all. It is for the ground. A healthy lawn is standing on soil that is full of living things too small to see, billions of them in every handful, and their whole job is breaking food loose in the dirt and handing it to the roots. Molasses is their supper. You feed them, they feed your grass, and that is why this tonic keeps working long after a salt bag would have quit. And hold that thought about the molasses, because the molasses is exactly what the afternoon sun ruins, and we are getting close to that now. Mixing it up takes about 2 minutes, and there's no rush at all. Get a clean quart mason jar. Fill it about halfway with warm water from the tap. Warm, not hot. Pour in 1 cup of the clear ammonia. That is 1 cup. Add 1 cup of Epsom salt. Again, 1 cup, same as the ammonia. Now add half a cup of the blackstrap molasses. That is half a cup, not a full cup, because too much sugar sitting on the surface does more harm than good. Top the jar off with warm water, leaving a little room at the top. Put the lid on tight. Shake it good for 30 seconds or so until the Epsom salt disappears and the whole jar turns that dark brown color. That is it. That is the whole recipe. 1 cup of ammonia, 1 cup of Epsom salt, half a cup of molasses, warm water to fill a quart jar. Total cost, about $2 a batch, and the bottles and bags you bought will make you a dozen more batches after this one. Putting it down is just as simple. You want a hose end sprayer, the plastic kind that screws onto the end of your garden hose, about $20 at any hardware store, and it will last you for years. Pour the jar into the sprayer bottle. Hook it to the hose. Then walk your lawn at an easy, steady pace, sweeping the spray side to side the way you would water flowers. The hose does all the diluting for you. 1 quart jar treats about 2,000 square feet, which for most folks is the whole front yard. That is 2,000 square feet from 1 jar, so a bigger lawn just means mixing a second jar. You will do this once every 3 weeks through the spring. Take a break during the real heat of summer when the grass is half asleep anyway, and pick it back up in early fall. Every 3 weeks, spring and early fall, and skip the days above about 85 degrees. Take your time out there. This is a pleasant 20 minutes, not a chore. And notice that I still have not told you what time of day to do it. That was on purpose because we have finally arrived at the part I promised you at the very start. Here is why this jar goes down at dusk, and why the old Amish farmers and the old groundskeepers would not budge an inch on it. Two things happen when you spray this tonic under a hot afternoon sun, and both of them empty your wallet. First, the nitrogen leaves. Ammonia in heat and direct sun turns to gas and floats away before it ever soaks into the ground. You have smelled it yourself opening the bottle. That smell is nitrogen escaping into the air. And on a hot lawn at noon, most of your $2 evaporates in the first hour. Second, and this is the part almost nobody explains, the sun ruins the molasses. That hot afternoon, sun bakes the sugar into a dry film on top of the soil, where it does nothing, and the little living things it was supposed to feed stay hunkered down deep because they only come up to work when the ground is cool and damp. Now flip it around. Spray at dusk, and everything reverses. The air cools off, so the nitrogen stays put. The evening dew settles in and carries the whole jar down into the root zone like a slow, gentle rain. And all night long, in the cool and the dark, the soil life comes up and eats and hands that food straight to your roots. Same jar, same $2. At noon, it is a waste. At dusk, it is the greenest money you will ever spend. The old fellas did not know the chemistry words for any of that. They just watched their fields for 50 years and knew when things worked. And that right there is exactly the kind of thing the old-timers taught me, my friend. The Old Ways has 49 more just like it, laid out just as plain, from the soil tricks in part 1 to the pantry and garage recipes that cost pennies in part 3. $17 down from $47 one time against a $40 bag you would be buying again every single season. It is 104 pages of what took me 30 years to collect, and I would hate for it to disappear with the men who taught it to me. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. So remember it plain. 1 cup of ammonia, 1 cup of Epsom salt, half a cup of molasses, a quart of warm water, and it goes down at dusk every 3 weeks. Now, did your dad or your grandpa have a lawn trick of his own? Put it in the comments below. That is exactly the kind of knowledge that gets lost when nobody writes it down, and I read every single one. Next time, I am going to show you the breakfast table powder the old cemetery groundskeeper used to stop lawn fungus cold before it could spread past a dinner plate, and why it has to go down dry. Keep that lawn thick and green, my friend, and I'll see you over the fence.